Hey everybody, Billy Bob here, and it's Wednesday in Billy Bob's backyard. And I'm gonna call this show I Was Gunna, but I decided not to. And you'll see why in a minute here. So, this is kind of a final finale of the Olympic discussions that I'm gonna have. We're gonna put a bow on it. It's a wrap in a couple of ways. We're gonna wrap it up, and we're going to wrap a couple people, like be a little bit critical or, give them a rap. Right, wrong, indifferent. Just what I think. So let's get after it. Amber Glenn, American figure skater. She wins the gold in the pairs with Alyssa Liu. And her comment was, they hate to see two woke bitches winning. I don't know. Nobody hates to see them winning. The criticism was that she went over to Italy representing America and was critical of America. I don't have any problem with being critical of America. I have a problem with where you're critical of America. You're over there representing our country. You don't like it, you shouldn't have gone. Right? If it was that bad, don't go. Do other things. I was going to talk about that, but I decided not to. A.J. Edelman. No, but A.J. Edelman grew up in Boston, but he's a dual citizen, Israel and America. I don't know the whole dynamics of dual citizenship, but he chose to represent Israel in the Olympics. I guess he did it in 2018 or 2022. Okay. Again, I don't like it. He said he would always choose Israel, even though he's a proud American, choose Israel over America to compete in the Olympics. I was going to talk about that, but I decided not to. And then we have Eileen Gao, right? So Eileen Gao, born in the United States. Her mother's a first-generation immigrant from China. Dad's an American. She decided that even though she's born here, went to college here, Stanford, that she was going to compete for China. A lot of bad things go on in China, right? Yet that was where she decided. Now, part of that is that she and another U.S.-born athlete, Xu Yi, got somewhere in the area over a 3-year period of $14 million for training from the Chinese Sports Bureau. She did study or attended cram school in Beijing for mathematics. Now, cram school is kind of what you think it is, cramming, in this case, cramming for tests and all that. I was going to talk about that, but I decided not to. And then maybe the bigger controversy of all is Kash Patel being at the Olympics, right? Not only being there, but being in the locker room and celebrating with the team. And that got a lot of feign outrage, right? Phony, fake outrage, something for people to be critical of Kash Patel because they don't like him. But, interestingly enough, when Alex Ovechkin of the Washington Capitals scored the goal to tie the great one, Wayne Gretzky, Kash Patel was in attendance. Not only was he in attendance, but he was sitting next to Wayne Gretzky, the great one, and NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman. Interesting. Now, why was Kash Patel in Italy? I'm not sure. The FBI said it had a major role in Olympic security, and the Patel was meeting with the Italian law enforcement officials and the U.S. ambassador to Italy. That's what they tell us. If not true, then the FBI is lying, telling falsehoods. I don't know. But he was there, right? And he was there on the American time. Okay? Did Kash Patel play hockey? Apparently he did in his youth. He played hockey. He later coached youth hockey. And he also skates for a team called the Dons, a club team in Washington, D.C. So he has a tie-in to hockey, eh? That's number one. And number two, he was invited into the locker room by the USA team manager and personal friend, Bill Guerin, who also happens to be the general manager of the Minnesota Wild. And it was stated that it was a private celebration. The team, I don't know that, I guess reporters weren't supposed to be. I don't know who was doing the filming. I don't care. I don't really care. Like I call it feign outrage, fake, phony, fake. By the way, not the first time, and I didn't look up all of the public officials over the years that have been to different Olympics. By the way, this was something I was going to talk about, and I changed my mind. I decided not to, right? Decided not to. But since I brought it up, there are many officials over the years that have gone to Olympics or other things throughout the world on the taxpayer dime. Here's one. Joe Biden in 2024 went to Paris, France for the Olympics. And not only did Joe Biden go, but she took the U.S. ambassador to France, which and Monaco, Denise Campbell Bauer. Of course she should. I agree with that. But then she took Senator Chris Coons, Senator Alex Padilla, and here's a couple that baffle me. The mayor of Los Angeles, Karen Bass. Now, we all know Karen Bass. And then Brian Boitano, he's a three-time winter Olympian. This was Summer Games. And Dawn Staley, the head coach of the South Carolina Gamecocks women's basketball team. Not sure why they were there. Supposedly they were as part of the delegation, so representing America. All right. But Coons and Padilla, how different is that from Kash Patel? I don't know. I was going to talk about that, but I decided not to. Lastly, there's one other one. Now, this one really would baffle you. And this is another Joe Biden story. Why do I bring her up? Just because we're talking about doing things on the taxpayer dime. There's so many things go on in the taxpayer dime. And it happens to both sides. But in this case, the Democrats chose to make a big deal out of Kash Patel. So Joe Biden was in Paris, Normandy specifically, for the 80th anniversary of D-Day. All right? Okay, she's there. I'm guessing the president was there. I don't remember. I don't know if it was one of the ones where he wandered off. I don't know. But she chose to fly home for a day back to the United States because her son Hunter was on trial. So she left Normandy, she flies home to America for a day, and she flies back. Jet setting. Now, the full cost of this trip for the taxpayers was somewhere around $223,000. The DNC said, oh, we'll reimburse for the cost of a first-class trip from Paris to Wilmington and back. It's about $6,600. So the DNC will pay $13,300 of $223,000. So that leaves outstanding balance of taxpayer money, $209,000. Now, I don't think Kash Patel's trip cost $209,000. But Again, that was something I was going to talk about today, but I decided not to. So that's an Olympic wrap. We may talk more about the hockey teams, men's and women's. But as far as overall Olympics, we're done. Put it to bed. Great job by the Americans. America, land of the free, because of the brave. Stay focused, America. Billy Bob, peace